have you here because on today's episode we fight to the death as... Okay, we're not going to fight to the death, but we are making a sword breaker, which is extremely exciting because it is a weapon that is used in the left hand to capture. A sword goes like this, move the sword out of the way for the opponent to then kill you. So that's no fun being on the wrong end of it, but it is fun to be making it because we're hoping to make this thing super duper nice. So it's a pleasure to have you here. Today's episode sponsor is Raid Shadow Legends, so let's give them a quick thank you. Before we get on with the video, Will is going to be manning the helms again today. So good luck, Will.
Thank you. We're going to get some more work done on the blade to start off with, and maybe move all the way to heat treating.
For those that don't know, Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new RPG collection game that is taking the mobile gaming landscape by storm. So much so that over 10 million people have already downloaded the game. It has great graphics, strategic gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personalize. This guy is my favorite champion. What I love about it, look at that awesome armor he has. He's also got a pretty sweet battle axe. What's phenomenal about this game is that everybody can find something for themselves. Some are about collecting characters, some are about deep storyline and graphics, but I think it's just fantastic to combat other live players. The game is completely free to play, and you can go download it now. My link in the description. You downloading that game supports this show. We really appreciate that. But of course, when you hit that download link for that game, for the first 90 days as part of their new player program, you're going to get a new daily reward. But that link is also going to be getting you 50,000 silver and an epic champion to boot. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this episode. Thank you guys for being here. Let's jump right in.
We've got some more filing to do, which is really exciting because I feel like we just haven't done enough filing on this piece yet. What we've got to do now is finish off the last few of these little teeth on the top and then completely even out those little tines that come down that catch the sword in there. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and cut and connect. We're going to play connect the dots here. And we're going to cut with a jeweler's saw and create a passage between that last little drilled hole and all of these little recessions in here. So start off teeth work, then move into a little bit of cutting. So as I'm finishing off the last of these teeth, I'm using one of the 220 grit stones that I ordered in, and I really wasn't liking them very much before. I had been using Windex as the like cutting fluid, but they suggested using kerosene, and actually Zippo fluid is pretty similar. It works in a very similar fashion as a lubricant, and that makes them a whole lot nicer to use. Pretty excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and try out some of the other higher grit stones. That was the 220. I'm going to go to a 320 and then a 400 and just see how that compares to the like 400 grit finish that I'm planning on taking the top of these two. And I'll do the rest with sandpaper and the kind of first 4 or 5 with the stones instead. So I broke the first stone, broke it right on the end. Apparently I put too much pressure on there. The other thing that I've just noticed is that the lighter fluid makes the stones wear away a lot faster. Now part of that I think is because it's clearing away the gunking, it's clearing away the gunked up abrasive, but I don't know. I'll do a little bit more testing, we'll see what we find out. Alright, I'm coming to you live from a storm here in Montana. It is 89 degrees and rainy, and we are ready to heat treat this beautiful sword breaker, so let's get to it. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and throw this bad mamma jamma into this 24-inch Paragon heat treating oven. Let it come up to temperature 1500 degrees. We're gonna quench. Hopefully we won't get any weird warpage, which is kind of a thing with like longer blades. If there's a bevel on one side, it can like cool and it pulls the blade into like a banana shape. I don't think we're gonna have that because the spines aren't really touching, and so it shouldn't really affect the way that it cools down all that much. But you never know. We'll find out one way or another, I guess, when we, you know, break it or not. Hopefully we don't, but we might.
just...
Oh my gosh! That is by far the most time I've ever had into a blade pre-heat treat. Oh my God. There goes 2 weeks. More? More than 2 weeks. 2.5 weeks. Oh no, Alec, we broke it.
They already know about the break.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so that happened like a few seconds ago. Today is now the next morning. And we know exactly why this broke. So, when you harden a blade, as I was talking about when it broke, you quench it, you then have 30 seconds to a minute before it fully sets into its fully hardened state to move it.
Between 900 degrees and 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
You can move it, you can bend it on a normal, like you've got a chef's knife or you've got a sword, you got that long thing, you know, you can tweak it to bend it to get out any warps. Now that's fine if it's a chef's knife or a sword or a Bowie knife.
Really anything that doesn't have a point of concentration where you're stressing it in about 1/16 of an inch.
Now, we've talked about stress concentrations, and this was always a concern of ours because no matter what in this design, there's gotta be a very small concentration of stress. We just should have thought about this because we could have found a way to avoid this happening. We could have done a shimmed temper to bend it after it was tempered while doing a second temper cycle. Instead, bending it now and putting forces to try and bend it while it was in that post-quench state, we're only trying to bend it on that tiny 1/16 of an inch of that little round section. There's nowhere else it's gonna bend. It's not gonna bend evenly through the whole thing. It was only gonna bend through that little concentration of stress. And so that was just a pure and utter lack of forethought. I should have jumped in and said, wait, this is not the way to do it. Let's straighten this in a shimmed temper, because that would have been a much safer bet, because it could have already been tempered, it could have been the second temper cycle. So, we have a problem. We have a sword breaker that's cut in two. We have a very handy thing though, which is we have a great friend, Jason from Fireball Tools. Make sure you go and buy his squares. You can get a little discount when you use code FORGE at checkout, fireballtool.com.
And other handy things too.
He's got tons of stuff. And it would mean a lot for us for you to support him, one, because it's going to support him, and two, we get a kickback. But three, because he has offered to let us use his water jet on the next one. The plan is as follows.
Wait. You're saying that we don't get to spend another 3 weeks hand filing this out?
Oh, you want to file it?
You know, I really think I'd be more comfortable if I hand filed the whole thing.
That's fine. So the plan is, Will, who has just said it on camera, is going to file out the entire thing
again
without the use of power tools.
Yeah.
No die
filing.
That's not the plan. We're gonna forge out a bill to Damascus. We're gonna send it to Jason. He's gonna water jet out all the details
after we've hardened the blade.
After we've hardened the blade. He has a cool video on his channel about his water jet machine. Make sure you check it out. And that's gonna be the plan. So we're gonna make up some more Damascus steel.
Alright guys, so right now we've got 4 feet. It's 2-foot long bars of steel that looks like that. Now that is our S pattern. There's 6 layers of those S's in there, and it's about 1 inch square right now. So the plan is to go ahead and cut those bars into 8 pieces each. So we will have a 4x4 billet. So we're gonna have all of our S's making little explosions in there. It's gonna be pretty freaking cool, but it's gonna be quite a challenge to not blow this whole billet apart as we you know, try to stick it together. So we're gonna fire up the bandsaw, chop these bars into 3-inch long pieces, etch them, clean them, make sure that they're in the right orientation, and then MIG weld them all the way around so we're not, you know, gonna blow it apart when we throw it under the power hammer, and hopefully get this thing stuck together, and then we can tile it out there into our new sword breaker blade. Alright, Alec, we got this whole thing mostly forged out. It needs to get a little bit thinner before we tile it out to reforge the sword breaker blade.
Yep, gotta love it when you have to reforge a blade. Thank goodness, it's a great learning experience. We learned so much. Sword breaker breaker,
Yep.
Thank you. Killer job today.
Ah!
Oh, did you just burn yourself?
A little bit I did.
The sword breaker breaker got burnt, so breaker breaker.
1-9er.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Will, taking the helms again. It's been a pleasure. Be sure to download our sponsors game, Raid Shadow Legends, and we'll catch you on the next one, where we hopefully don't snap another sword breaker. Bye-bye.